Welcome back to Class Culture. Happy Eastertide. We made it another year, hearts of gold. And guess what? That's a blessing in disguise. It is, well, I see it. It is not in disguise for me, but hearts of gold, sometimes you have to step back into your own body. I think a lot of people spend time in each other's body and each other's business, and they haven't claimed their own identity. And, we don't have a problem over here, Hearts to Go. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful Palm Sunday. I hope you are going to enjoy your Easter tide. Every year I do. So, that's what we're going to continue to do. Okay. I had a bit of a decision I had to make. I said, am I going to keep all of these on a word of worship, or am I going to make a separate Easter tide playlist? So I went with the separate Easter tide playlist. However, I'm going to keep these on a word of worship. I just want them separate. You know what I mean? And maybe in the future and beyond, I'll jump off only on Easter tide, because it is a very meaningful, I call it holy for me. Yeah, this is the holy season, and I'm not, the devil is busy, but that don't mean I got to watch him do what he do. But anyway, Easter tide 2023, we're going to talk about Acts 12:4, Jesus and St. Peter, because I thought to myself, hard to go, I said, okay, I can't talk about Easter every year. We can, but you know me, I want to mix it up. We want to use our brain cells and deal with, you have to deal with in real life and make it apply. Right? That's what we do over here. If you're new, welcome, boo. But you got to do your part, because I've been over here busy. Go on and subscribe. Hit those replay crews. Watch videos you haven't seen before. That's how you support a content creator. Don't support a content creator just because they're in something negative or they're doing something bad. That's not good for your soul. So I'm not here to save you. I'm just trying to keep it 100 and tell you how to support me. Okay, so subscribe. Yeah, don't ask me no questions about a video I already did. That's the point of a video. You go watch it. Thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to the replay crew. You guys rock, and you keep my number. I get like 1,000 views a day. So you are why I'm here. No other reason. And of course, the powerful one and only, right? Whoever that is, because guess what? We're in America. You have the right to worship how you choose. And we're going to hit a little bit about that. And I thought, okay, this Easter tide, I want to talk about the men, the 12 people. Let me put that in the banner. Yeah, because people like to talk about numbers. We're going to talk about hashtag 12. That's what we're going to talk about. Let's keep the devil mad. Yeah, because that's all he needed. We're going to talk about the 12 men and some other people along the way. I figure I can do Easter tide throughout the whole month of April. And guess what, hearts ago? I might do some extra. I put that K in the next one, because we class over here. And I might just do some extras and drop my videos. It just depends on my soul and my mindset. I'm going to do what I want, especially during the season that, like they say, all the seasons have reasons. Well, tell us about it, or support us and let us know that, hey, that matters to me too. In comment sections. Shout out to all the content creators who are brave enough to share videos that have to do with God and the Bible. Yeah, don't just share my videos where I'm just on, nonsense. Share the videos that matter, that don't have nonsense, that have ads on it. Yeah. Shout out to anyone and everyone that cash apps me whenever you come along these videos. Shout out to the present and the future and beyond. I appreciate you. Let's get on with the show. Because you know I'm a talker. Yeah. But when I talk, we're talking about something important. Again, we're going to talk about Acts 12:4. Now we're going to put a little mess in there. A little a historical mess because it was a whole mess, right? The story of Jesus and St. Peter, the keys and the kingdom. Hashtag 12. Yeah, I like that. So down below, if you're new here, this is how it works. If this is your new and first, if this is a new experience over here, welcome. If this is your first a word of worship, welcome. It's not mine or ours. Catch up. Join that replay crew. Right here, let me, you know what, that's why I had it open. Yeah, I had clicked live and I said, well, I got this playlist open to show you, right? Yeah, let's do some advertisement. Let's have a commercial. Look, my channel is on the move. We are growing. Hashtag beauty and newness, and it is what it is. Don't be mad. Yeah. So now, and that's why I had it open. Now I gotta find it. Yeah. Just get your beverage, walk on over to the fridge, get another cube of ice. Grab. Oh, shout out in real time. I got my 3 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. I support them every year. I don't get anything crazy. I get the same ones every time. I'll show you guys when I'm live next time. So yes, my channel, we do more than one thing. Here it is. As you can see here. I'll show you that after I show this part. That's what I love about my channel. Here we go. So you go to the playlist, and it's important to celebrate and support content creators like myself that enjoy doing whatever they want to do. So yeah, nobody's gonna force me not to do talk about Jesus during the holy. No, ma'am. No, sir. So this is the history of this playlist, and I don't know what's wrong with you guys. That should say 2 years. I have no idea. Don't care. I'm not in charge. So yeah, we started out with talking about liturgical issues, right? And then here you go. I even change my avatars when I get to about 10 of them, because to make it interesting. And I actually love, not the avatars, the thumbnails. And I actually loved putting class culture on the worship. So yeah, because we worship over here. Have a nice day. But yeah, you can read the titles. You can click and view. You can decide which ones you want to listen to first, or you hit the playlist and you say play all. So we appreciate you. So you go all the way down, and then I use that word of worship, right? And as you will see, probably in coming up, like this is Palm Sunday. Jesus came to Bethany. What's the point in saying it again? That's why I said this year I'm going to talk about the men and women that supported him in the culture and the cause. So let me just make sure that's on the right playlist. Save to a play. See, you're looking at this in real time. Yeah, it's on there. Okay, it's on there. All right. So here we go. So that was that thumbnail, and then we moved up in the world. We talked about other things, and then we moved up and on. There's some Easter, and we put class culture. That is growth for me, and I like to see it. We should say live right there. Yeah. Okay, this is what I like, and it feels great. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. And where do you find a quick link to that? Down below, downtown, in the description box. And like I said, I'm going to put a word of worship. in the Eastertide during April, Eastertide season in every word of worship. Easy breezy. Okay, so I'll stop sharing that. And I will go to mine. And I hope you had a wonderful Palm Sunday. I was walking down the street and I heard this big old band. And I said, oh, where's the party? And it was Palm Sunday. I said, oh. I was going somewhere else. So I didn't go to services, but I went to where I was going. Then I went back. So I was like, I don't know. Easter changes, right? Every year it changes. So you never know. And I hope you enjoy the actual verse. We will go over it. I shared that when I opened up the show. So let's go right there. Yes, sit back, relax, and just listen. Again, if this is your first experience, you can open up your book of worship. You can just listen, or you can use your computer. Shout out to the internationals. Love you, boo. I see you. I appreciate you. A shout out to your family and friends and your communities. So Acts 12:4. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to four. Now they call them quaternions. That's just like squads. And quarter. I said quarter. Yeah. Quaternions is the letter 4. Number 4. See, I'm tired. I had a long day. Yeah, long day. To keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. This is the only reference in the Bible to the holiday, Easter, which is interesting, Hearts of Gold, because, oh, see, I hate that they have this new feature. I have to press the right one. There you go. Which is interesting because here they're referring to Herod, the evil king that's killing these founders of Christianity because the Jews did not like it, nor did he. And he waited to kill and or deal with Peter after Easter because he was scared. That's why. But it's interesting. And again, I did my research. If anyone wants to let me know, it said that's the only reference of Easter. Oh, see, I don't know. They changed it, y'all. They changed it, and I really don't need to be on the screen. The only reference of Easter in the Bible, but I like it because again, he knew there was power there. People in power or people that are manipulative or people that are in charge have to have balance, or else the power will consume them and they will ultimately die. No, they will ultimately abuse it. They will ultimately become drunk with their own position and their own purpose, and they will change rules and laws and lie, and it just cause chaos, become poison, become tainted, become evil, become wrong, and then they'll double down. I mean, he killed and stalked and harassed and murdered, and people had to go underground in caves to live. And the people who, I think Martin Luther King said it best. Your silence is complicit. You are on their side. We see you, like we say in certain sectors. You're not saying anything. So you're either scared or you're because Christianity, became a thing after Jesus passed away. He was Jewish. Okay? So because he had the new law from his Father in heaven, the Jewish community was not happy either. So they ergo sided with the king, the people in charge, the militant power. So when Herod caught up with Peter, that's who they're talking about here. And when Herod got Peter and put him in jail, he delivered him. He had to have 4 squads of soldiers to, because they were scared. Because, it was a different time. They didn't think like we did. A lot of people were, let's call it illiterate, right? And they uh, believed in the kingdom culture. And that's why I don't understand when people aren't Americans living in America talking about kings and queens. It makes no sense. Sorry. Go to some of these other countries and see what it feel like if you say them words. You ain't gonna, no, you ain't gonna last. So, and again, here it is saying he waited until after Easter to bring him to the jury. And I always say jury like jewelry. It just comes out that way. In real time, hearts ago, I put over on my community tab because I knew I was going to have this discussion. Let me read it. Do I need to share it with you? Yeah, let me share it with you. Why not? That's why I love YouTube and StreamYard. I do. I really do. So this is me under construction. There's Gigi Darling. And happy Palm Sunday whenever you get this video. This is why communities matter. They might sit in your jewelry box. I'm just saying. On a Palm Sunday. To me, this was better than this picture. And that's a dove carrying an olive branch. That's the universal sign of peace. And it is Palm Sunday. But when you can't use words, when you can't use symbols, I don't need to speak your language to give you that. You should already know what that means. And for people who don't celebrate it, what else you got? That's it. You just keep on pushing and believe in what you're believing in. So yeah, but obviously Christ was judged, and a lot of his disciples and apostles were judged, and we're going to talk about that during Eastertide because those communities did matter. Some of them believed, some of them didn't, some of them lived, some of them didn't. So we're going to talk about that. So communities do matter. They mattered then, they matter now. Because those people might sit in your jewelry box. Jewelry. I can't. It is what it is. Okay. So we talked about acts already. And these videos are meant for you to, hey, Deirdre, listen to me. Click off after I'm done with my video and for you to do your research. Okay. So the next thing is St. Peter. Now, I kept putting in St. Peter because when I just put in Peter, you can imagine it wasn't working. So he wasn't a saint until after the fact. We know that, right? Okay. So let's go to St. Peter. Yeah. This is just an introduction. So I just thought that was interesting because I never even thought about, because think about it, Old Testament, right? And then New Testament. I just figured there were more references to Easter, but according to my research, if I'm wrong, I can correct it. Easy breezy. That's the only reference of Easter in the Bible. Isn't that interesting? But anyway, that was powerful. Traditions, holidays, beliefs, families, cultures, kings, queens, how they treated you, what they did. They didn't have cell phones. You didn't know what the king was doing and the queen. A castle was meant to people. Some people went their whole lives, 60, 70, 80 years old, without even seeing the king or queen. So yeah, it's very, very different world. I'm happy to be an American. St. Peter died between AD, so 60 years after Christ died. Isn't that interesting? Because to me, A lot of them were hunted and persecuted and or just you know you know faded away in history. So we're going to talk about all 12. But yeah, he's also known as Peter the Apostle. So he lived a good long life, is what I mean by that. A good long life, right? He's also known as Peter the Apostle, Simon Peter, Simeon, Simon, or Cephas. And we're going to talk about why he has had different names or why they name people so many names. And it's going to make absolutely perfect sense. I love having these conversations in real life because people go, oh, why didn't I think of that? It's like, yeah, that's why. St. Peter, also known as Peter the Apostle, and everything I just said, was one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ and one of the first leaders of the early Christian church. Think about it. That's where the Catholic Church began. Catholic is just a word, it means universal. And then other religions sprung from that because there are other cultures. That's why. And other movements. And then time changes and we become more advanced human beings and societies. But back then, that was the beginning of the Catholic roots. And that's why it's okay to cross sort of, what's the word? Cross worship. I don't know. Does that sound right? It's okay if you're not Catholic, it's okay to do Lent. Because to be honest with you, and you're Baptist, well, I think Baptists do Lent. I don't know. But because to be honest, that was the beginning of the church. So you're just going back to the origins, the traditions that they meant it for you to. Sorry. I think a lot of people just aren't brave enough to participate correctly. Nobody's going to make me do that. What it wasn't about that. It was about your soul, saving your soul, not forcing you to do something, feeding you. If you're empty, if you're sad, if you're wayward, if you're ain't right with when people say you ain't right with God, if you ain't right with yourself, try it. Or just read passages or just listen to YouTubers. If you don't even like to read, listen to YouTubers. Shout out to Gigi Darling and the Word of Worship. And close your eyes and listen and apply. And then after that, guess what you have to do? The hard part. Apply it to yourself. Judge yourself. Isn't it interesting how people judge other people? It's like, okay, now call me when you judge yourself because you ain't saying that. So he was the first. I would say he was one of the first, but I would say he was the first leader because he lasted long and Christ actually gave him like the keys to the kingdom. We're going to talk about that. He appears repeatedly and prominently in all 4 New Testament Gospels as well as the Acts, and that's what we're talking about. He died at Vatican Hill, right? Look at me. That's where I'm at. The different 3 Catholic churches in San Francisco. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that his St. Peter's Basilica, where the Pope resides, is all built on his tomb. A lot of people don't know that. It's interesting to me, but okay. That's why we have a word of worship. And we'll get there. I can't get sidetracked because I will. I will. And I just saw something not spelled right, and I'm going to get the right spelling. Here we go. Because I like to, and I'm happy I'm back to this because it took a minute. I said, oh, I got to get on board. I got to do this. I got to do it. I got to do it. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Paste. And while you're listening to me, just think about how you want to have this conversation with people you actually know in real life. I love you, boo. Glad you're here too. But talk about these issues with everyone in your real. I love being a part of who you are. And I love you being a part of class culture. But please apply it to your real. If you're my family and friends, this is me speaking to you. And that's the street cleaner out there, if you hear him. How did St. Peter, my window is right by the street. So you know how I record late. It's like right there. So he always show up when I'm live. So how did St. Peter and Jesus meet? Again, I know his name was just Peter, but it just don't hit right if I don't do it right. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay. And again, thank you for the cash apps. I appreciate you guys. I'll be walking down the street in a meeting. I wake up in the morning and I get a cash app. That is such a blessing. I'm buying computers, I'm buying camera equipment, I'm doing all kind of productive things. That's very important that I do that with money that I earn, not money that I'm saving or putting aside or using as equity and things like that. If you're a business person or a whole adult, you understand what I'm saying. You can't commingle things. So that's why I have joy bringing, and these videos last and live forever. Thank you. If you're in 2026, hey boo, right? So, how did they meet? As Jesus was walking beside the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers called Peter and his brother Andrew. They were casting a net into the sea, right? And people always say they were fishermen. Well, they were also sailors too, obviously, right? For they were fishermen. And Jesus approached them and said, "Come follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. Obviously, he kept his word. The Pope is in Peter's position because you can go back in history. We're going to talk about that. And each Pope, one died, they replaced it. One died. That is a direct connection to Peter and Christ and God and this time period. Isn't that interesting? I love that. That's what I do love about the Catholic Church. It's like a historical living Bible. It's like at the beginning. You can touch it. You can go inside of I've been to St. Peter and know that down below that St. Peter's footprint, presence, and tomb is right there. I love that. You can be don't even believe in Christ or Jesus or whatever. And that's just good history. Good on the humans that were strong enough and died and were persecuted and believed to keep that, because what happens when cultures and kingdoms and queendoms happen? What do? They tear things down and they lie a lot. Kings and queens lie and kill and steal to make kingdoms. So don't play with me. A lot of that stuff is evil. And that's why it's okay to walk away and go to your own little town, your own little fiefdom, and be happy and calm and have freedom and peace. Yeah, leave me alone. They were fishermen and sailors. So that's how they met. So when you do your own research, you can go further in that lane of trying to get to know how they met and what had happened. But again, let's talk about why did the apostles change their name, because sometimes it's very confusing to people on who we're talking about, because you'll go in different, let's just say different I'm a little tired, different denominations, and they'll use other names. I'm not going to go that far into it, not today. But what I will say is there's an easy explanation, and this is why. All right, here we go. And then, of course, we have our 3 websites as well. Okay, why did the apostles change their names? Alrighty. Oops, see, I had it open and I closed it. Sure. Alrighty. Why was Simon renamed to Peter? Simon became the 12th Simon became the 12th disciple of Jesus. Jesus changed his name to Peter, which means rock. So his name was Simon at first, and then he named him Peter, okay, meaning the rock. And Jesus said that one day he would give Peter a special job, which is basically he was the Pope. He took Jesus' place because Jesus knew that one day he wouldn't be with them, and he had to hand over his job. Right there, you go. He promised to always be there for Jesus. So Peter committed himself to him. Isn't that interesting? Without money, without gratuity, without gifts, without arrangements, without contracts. It was belief. It was his soul. It was reasoning. It was friendship, true ship, soul ship, religion ship. Yeah, I don't know where y'all be going because that don't feel me. What did I have open? And it was my explanation. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. It must be in purple. I think I was refreshing you guys. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is it. Okay, see, sometimes I got to trust myself. Why were people's names changed in the Bible? In the Old Testament, we see the changing of names for the purpose of cultural assimilation. Just think one country or many of people in a melting pot, like in America. So there's different languages. So in one language, one name might be something else. In another language, it might be something else. Well, sometimes one culture kind of trumps the other culture, or there's more of them, or that culture kind of dies out. That's why. So they gave some other names, had to had to be changed to Hebrew names to this cultural name. I mean, there's a lot of words in there, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce those. But here is the real reason. In the New, so they went from the Old Testament and explained for cultural assimilation because all people were coming together. In the New Testament, it was common for a Jew to have two names, one Hebrew and one Greek. It's that easy because they were all Jewish. So going forward, and for instance, royals do that too, or when they become kings and or queens, they'll take a certain name, for authoritarian purposes, or I don't know. Like in America or anywhere else. That's a good, yeah, any country, how you have juniors and seniors and thirds and fourths and fifths. It's sort of like a succession, of power, of purpose, of identity, of assimilation. You know what I mean? To hold on to that newness, right? You like how I did there? So one was Hebrew, one was Greek. It's that simple. If you want to delve into the real meaning and the deep, intellectual conversation, you go. I'm busy. Okay. So I just wanted to share that. And it's a simple answer. And like I said, I told my friend that. She was like, girl, why didn't I think of that? I'm like, well, just, it is what it is. Thank you for asking. Okay. Look at me spelling words wrong in the background. I was rushing. What's the next thing we're going to look up? Why did Jesus give Peter the keys? Now, have you heard the story? I just find it interesting that a lot of people, I read a lot when I was little, right? Give me a second. Here we go. And once I read and I know a lesson in my mind, it's there. It don't go nowhere. Why don't people hold on to what had happened? I crack myself up when I say that, you guys. So what had happened was okay. After they did, we're going to tell the story of each apostle. I'm going for right here how they met, what their purpose was, what it means for Easter time. So we can't do too much. So what had happened was Jesus became Jesus, right? He met his apostles. Now we know how he and Peter met, right? And then what had happened was they were changing the hearts and minds of the people who were being persecuted, right? And when Jesus got caught up, right, and arrested, and the Last Supper, he said, "I have to choose somebody," and he chose Peter, right? But why? So here is a quote from Matthew. "And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven." Now he said the keys of the kingdom, not to the kingdom. I hate when I hear people say to. Wrong. The keys of the king, meaning I'm going to give you the rule book, but guess what? You have to follow it. Girl, just because you got the keys don't mean nothing. Are you worthy? How about that? "And whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven." So if you're binding evil on earth, that don't hit. You're not even gonna enter. Okay? But let's look at it from his point of view. If you bind good men and or good women, they will be bound in heaven. "And whatever thou shalt lose on earth shall be lost in heaven." I can't use some of their words sometimes. They sound weird. So if you leave the evil, the treachery, the trifleness, and all the other bad words that I want to say, that is not in heaven. It will be removed. If I don't know, do people sneak in there? I don't know. It's in my mind. I think about these things, screenwriter. I'm like, do they sneak in there and hide and snake and get cast down like Lucifer? Well, he was in there. So I don't know. That we'll talk about that later in another show. But yeah, you don't need that to be happy. I don't know why people think they need, sorry, evil hatefulness to be happy. That's a miserable person. Because a lot of these nonsense content creators that bother other content creators, they're just miserable human beings. Number one, they're strangers. Number two, they're miserable human beings. Number three, I can already tell you're an unhappy person because of the way you treat other people. And I can already tell you're not a saved or a holy or a good person, whether you believe in Christ or not, because you're just doing badness. So I can't deal. Hashtag 12. Let's put that up on the screen. Yeah, hashtag 12. "You won't break my soul." No, hashtag 12. I'm good with that. See, maybe God's trying to tell you something. Shout out to Color Purple. Do y'all know the reason? Am I going to talk about that today? Y'all know the reason. That's good. They chose the color purple. That's an Easter color. See, things are not happenstance. No, it's not a mistake. It's all purposeful. So you can go here and see the different meanings of, the key. It's an emblem of St. Peter as the guardian of the gate of heaven. The key may either confine or release, meaning if you don't follow it or if you're trying to hold on to nonsense, you can't go in there. Your key won't fit. You might get a key, you might buy a key, you might even steal gold from a different country and bring it to yours and kill the people. It still ain't, you didn't do right getting it. Right. And I never understood the worship of things that come out the earth that were, how people have these gold chains and these diamonds and people die and they shoot and kill them. It's like that is just, you're an animal. because nothing is more pure, nothing is more beautiful, nothing is more organic than a human being. We grow human beings in our wombs. And to know that someone's mind is so sick that they're out there killing war and soldiers is a different thing because you got to protect yourself. But just to kill for a piece of gold, we're not out. We're trying to stop other people from killing other people. Yes, but to stalk somebody and to try to take money or jewels or um whatever, something of work, shoes. People will die because of shoes. That ain't holy. That's evil. And the devil probably sleeps somewhere. It's just a stupid human out here being a stupid human. So the blueprint is already there. It's I don't even listen to a lot of YouTubers that discuss the Bible all day long. It's like it's already there. I don't need to have the discussion no more. I'm sorry. Have a nice day. Good for you. Power to absolve sin, a sign of fidelity, faith. And this is everything you need right here, right? Elements, in addition, elements of secrecy and discretion coincide. Sometimes worship in silence. You don't have to explain to anybody. And you don't have to follow all the rules. I don't have to do everything the Catholic Church does, the Baptist Church does, the Lutheran Church does. Why don't you just be a good person? Okay. So, let's see. There we go. All right. All right. All right. Here we go. So you're going to take what I introduced to you and then you're going to go further with it. We can't go over everything. This will be a 7-hour video. This is just the start of this Easter tide 2023. So if I get on next Sunday and I'm referring to this video, sorry, you will have already had to watch this video. I will assume, just like the ass that Jesus rode in on Palm Sunday, that you already traveled through this video and you on to the next one. You like what I did there? Mhm. Yeah, we're adults over here, 18 and plus. How did the apostles change their name? Why did he give them the keys? Why was St. Peter arrested? Okay. Yeah, Jesus knew the end was near. And it seemed to me that that's the person he trusted the most. That's what it seems to me. Okay. And he lived the longest. And that's what I found. So he chose wisely, right? And he already said it when he met him. I have a job for you. So, right, he just already knew. So here, why was St. Peter arrested? Sorry. His denials are made in the face of accusation that he was with Jesus, the term indicating the bond of discipleship. The Gospel of Matthew states that Peter denied Jesus in front of everyone, thus making a public witness affirming this with an oath, right? What did Peter do to Jesus while he was arrested? The chief priest sent an armed crowd to arrest Jesus. They were obviously expecting trouble from the disciples. Hashtag 12. One of them, identified as Peter, drew his sword and cut off the ear of the high priest's servant. Jesus reacted by saying, "Put your sword back in its place." He didn't want him to do that. He didn't want him to fight like that. He wanted him to fight for souls, not for honor, not for badges, not for gold, not for diamonds, not for position, not for kingdom, not for queendom. Jesus was fighting against that. He said, no, no. So what's the cost sometimes? Their life, their position, their purpose, their belongings. So, and that's kind of true now in the modern religion realm. Some people get mad because that's why I love being American. You can be whatever religion you want, and not get persecuted. Not get your ear cut off. No, I'm just kidding. But he was mad. He was going to fight. Because everybody wants to live, quoting fingers in the air, but you got to live right. And Jesus said, I chose you for a reason. Put your sword down. It's going to be all right. Okay? So I'm just giving you a little glimpse of how they met, what they went through, and what had happened without going, I only want these videos to be an hour. We'll go over more as we get nearer and towards the end of Eastertide. And if you know nothing about Eastertide, and if this is your first time hearing the word Eastertide, go down below to the Eastertide playlist. I already covered that. Yeah, because I can't stand to repeat myself sometimes. I just really can't. I mean, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't. That keeps you in one place stuck in a rut, and that ain't me. Bye. Okay. I said what? He was arrested. So a lot of people think, oh, well, he might have denied them, but he did cut that person's ear off. I almost cursed. And I'm for that. But yeah, that was why. It was sort of kind of how he kind of skirted out of not being executed immediately, too. So, shout out to Peter. He was mad. And it's okay. Did we? Yeah, we went over St. Peter. We sure did. I just forgot to close it, y'all. There we go. Alrighty. Peter arrested was okay. A lot of people don't know that Peter was married. Why they don't include family life and all of that, I don't know. It is what it is. But a lot of people are not aware. So here is the proof. Here's the receipts. As we like to say. Give me a second. Everything should have receipts. You cannot go to the judge, the court, real life, get a job without a receipt. You got to even show them the resume. We're references. Stop. You can't just lie. I cannot stand liars. Yeah, I cannot stomach it. I will not waste no more time on liars. I'm just not doing it. It's not entertaining. I don't play games. I'm not interested. It's a waste of my time and attention. Go away. You're not gonna get no shine over here. Your soul is not gonna be fed, and your head is gonna hurt because you're dealing with me. I will strike you down, and I won't even use a hammer, a sword, or a rock. I'm gonna get in your head, in your chest. I'm not playing with nobody no more. How to go? We busy. We past that. The three uh synoptic, sorry, put my glasses on, gospels recount how, right? How Peter's mother-in-law was healed by Jesus at their home in Capernaum. Then there's Matthew, it's in Mark, and it's in Luke. This passage clearly depicts Peter as being married or widowed. We don't, because they didn't talk about it. Don't ask me why. And in 1 Corinthians has also been taken to imply that he was married. So a lot of people don't know that he was married. And Jesus healed his mother-in-law. Ergo, that's probably why HUGz he threw that net down on the ground and he said, let's go. I believe. Because this king is insane. Yeah, that's not impressive to call yourself king. Which one? That's what I want to know. Okay. I don't know who you be. So we're gonna go over 3 webbies. And then we're going to go back to a pronunciation after we hit one of these webbies, because education is key. It's everything. And I'm going to mark this as educational because the devil gets mad when they come over and they see we're educating people and we're getting along and we're networking. So that's my job. Oh, I know the assignment. I'm okay with it. It's interesting, but I'm okay with it. I am. Go on and hit that subscribe button. If you made it this far, I don't know what you're waiting for. It ain't gonna. It's just gonna get better and better, right? Happy Easter tide. Here we go. And this is, see, you don't have to be all Bible-y and thumpy and judgy and weirdo to talk about this stuff, right? Remember that scene in Devil Wears Prada? That's a double entendre. Yeah, stuff. Remember when she got so upset? That's one of my favorite scenes. And I could shut down the movie. It's like, oh, she about to get her. But yeah, and then we're going to talk about a little mess, just a little mess. The Bible, it's a lot of mess in the Bible. So yeah, well, because these were regular human beings, so it's intriguing. But yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. So the first link, let me make sure. I'm always making sure it matches what I'm doing down below, because that's a responsible heart of gold, which I am. This is a great read. It's called This Webby, and I'm doing my best to find new websites. Desiring God is a great article. Invisible and Unmistakable: How Scripture Pictures the Holy Spirit. Really, really good read. And this picture is amazing because when a bird flies over my head, it has a meaning to me, and that's private, right? Secrecy is everything when it comes to your soul. That's why, you know how they say bare your soul or you tell everybody everything. No, that's not holy. That's somebody trying to get you. And I like this opening. God is incomprehensible. And guess what? God is different things to different people, y'all. It shouldn't be the same. You can sit and listen to the same, let's say, preacher, but what one person hears and it feeds their soul might not be enough for the next person, and they're just waiting for him to be done and clap your great words, and I'm here for the singing, so but you're all there. The point is to gather, right? And then that person will get meaning out of the lyric, right? Or maybe they read that verse already and they just waiting for something else, and that's okay too. It's not bad. It's because I don't like how people try to beat you over the head for what you feel is important and what they think you should think is important. It's like, no, it don't work that way. This means that while we can truly know him because he reveals himself to us personally, individually, through prayer and purpose in life and meaning and situations, that something might be happening to me right now. You have no idea. You're not supposed to know. It's only for me. Gigi, that's mine, not for you. And you will never, just like God is incomprehensible, so am I. I can only reveal to you what I want. And if you know me in real life, some things you don't even have to explain. You just demonstrate without talking. How about that? We can never wrap our minds around him. He is infinite, internal, and triune. Remember, we talked about that. Yeah, shout out to the lexicon. Thus, he reveals himself to us in ways that fit our capacity. So, what one person can deal and cope with, another person might be on a different level. You're different, and it's okay. That's why you need doves with sprigs for the word peace. Because sometimes you could say something to the demon and they don't understand. I want peace. It's just difficult sometimes. And then I love this part. Oh, I like that. But the spirit is elusive. It sure is. Yeah. When breath and spirit breathe. That's a message to a soul today. Deirdre will continue to breathe. So here, the spirit's very name links him to wind, breath, and spirit. Okay? breathe. And like pneumonia, pneuma in Greek means lungs, breathe. It literally in Greek, it means what's in your chest. I love it. I love it. So going back to the Hebrew, the Greek, the different cultures and the different times and the different eras and the 2000 years later, it's all, it all matters. So the actual word is in there to breathe. Mm-hmm. Uh, Rest in peace. We know the spirit is the way we know the wind by his effects. So read more, read more. And here they talk about the river, the oil, and the dove. It's down below. We got to go. Yeah, because I'll keep going. I'll keep going. All right. What's next? What's next? You got to give people. You got to learn on your own. I can't just feed you everything. Chill. All right. This is a great website, Pathos. I think I've been here before. This is great because you can actually see other worships and other beliefs and other religions and all that stuff. New Vision, Progressive, Hindu, Jewish. And don't pit one against the other. One is not more than the other. Muslim, we're still in Ramadan, I think, until April 21st in real time. I mean, deal with it. Learn how to get along. Lent. Okay. Spirituality. Because I love when people say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Where? If you're doing evil things and breaking laws. Some reflections on Peter's deliverance from prison. And that also includes harassing, slandering, lying, bothering, and doxing, and stealing, and copycatting and piggybacking. I just wanted to make that clear. Okay? I don't know. They're asking me to sign up. I'm not signing anything up. And here they talk about the acts, sorry. I suppose, of course, that the amusement of it is enhanced by not being an ancient Judean prison keeper or the Apostle James. So they really go into it, right? Now that the time Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, meaning to kill, he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. He saw it please the Jews. Now, this is very controversial. That's why I say here come a little mess. The king saw the Jews were basically happy that they were killing this new sect of heathens because they were talking on top of the Jewish church and they didn't like it. So it's here in the Bible. It's very controversial. A lot of people don't like it. Unfortunately, Hitler clasped onto that and created World War II, right? And because he saw it please the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Meaning because Hitler was a maniac, he believed that the Jews were the reason Jesus was persecuted. And one of his sick beliefs, I'm not saying it's true, I'm not saying that was a Sesame Street. It's very in depth. This ain't about him. I got a video on him too. But anyway, back to this. Herod saw it pleased the Jews to kill Jesus and his followings and to hunt these men and women down over time. That made modern people angry, so they used it as an excuse to kill and attack, and to this day persecute Jews. Real Jews, not people saying, I'm Jew and you don't go to synagogue. No, you're a demon, you're a liar. You're not even practicing. Right? Isn't that interesting? Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison, delivered him to four quadrants of soldiers to keep him, intended after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Very interesting. Not only was he kowtowing to the Jews, he was kowtowing to this new sect of religion because Easter had happened, because Christ was what? Murdered. Interesting. Yeah. So you can read the rest. It's down below in the description box. It's very interesting. I like knowing what happened. I have the need to know. And it has to make sense. And then when it doesn't make sense, what do you do? Hard to go. Find a church and go ask. They'll come and sit in a pew with just you and them in the whole church and talk about it and explain it to you. A pastor or an assistant, they'll come out and say, "How can I help you?" Or a nun will say, "How can I help you?" So I want to know about this. Do it. Make it make sense to you. Don't click live, go on YouTube and ask a heathen what Jesus is about. Are y'all okay? Yeah, that was the advantage of going to Catholic school. So it was taught to us and to study theology. Right? Isn't that a beautiful picture? It really is. Easter, a day of celebration. So that's what's coming next, right? So may I be the first one to say Happy Easter, right? According to the dictionary, Easter is an annual Christian festival in commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, observed on the first Sunday after, a lot of people don't know this, the full moon. That's why it keeps changing. And you read the rest. And you see the word Julian? Yeah, that's my son's middle name. I named him Julian. Yeah. And here, let's talk about the origin of Easter and the pronunciation of, where is it? God, got so many windows open. Oh, Lord. Did I close it? I sure did. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, here we go. Yoster. Yoster. You see it down there? Oops. Hit the right button, Deirdre. According to our Bible, what the hell? Yeah. According to our Bible dictionary, the name Easter was derived from Yoster. Okay. Hear it one more time. Yoster. Yoster. It has the E there, but it's Yoster. Now, remember, we cross cultures and different cultures. They might give that hard E, and that's where Easter came from. But let me read. It was originally a Saxon word denoting a goddess of the Saxons, in honor of whom sacrifices were offered about the time of the Passover. Another probability is the Norse Yoster, which meant the season of the growing sun or the season of new birth. The word east comes from the same roots. In this case, Easter would be linked to the changing of the season. A more recent and complex explanation comes from the Christian background of Easter rather than the pagan. So when one kingdom takes over another, they kind of smooth over and melt cultures and countries, and you know the rest of the story. So they go on and on and on, y'all. And we're going to talk about that more. We already are aware. If you're not, jump on the replay crew, the Christian meaning of Easter. I've already discussed that. Moving right along. I think we hit all of the points. Yes, in my hour. But yeah, I want to talk about this. And again, it's Yoster. I've heard so many people pronounce it different ways. That's why it is important to learn a different language. It really is. All right. So here I go. Here I go. Okay, yeah, I want this one. So be careful, but be forgiving and be understanding. Be careful, but be intellectual and current. It's okay to not change minds, but elevate. Say, that was the old way of thinking. We're in 2023. We're not messing with nobody. Every culture has gone through this story, right? The Africans were brought to America and persecuted, right? Yeah, they didn't do that religious thing with us, did they? But guess what? When Africans brought their culture with them, and then they learned the people running the farms said, "Oh, we're going to use the Bible to try to get them to believe." And then they started reading the Bible and they started understanding. They said, "Nope, the very thing you tried to a hole on our head, we used it for good." See, that's why, to me, that's why scripture in the Bible is good, because it delivered them as well. It sure did. And they read about these people, and that's why men and women were named after apostles, or things or names you got out of the Bible. And that's why I have a Julian. Right? Make it make sense. Acts 12, 3 and 4. So we'll do it one more time, and this we're going to close on this. And because he saw it pleased the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison, delivered him to 4 squadrons, okay, of soldiers to keep him, intended after Easter to bring him forth to the people. It's an explanation of what had happened. It's not a reason to hate or to hurt or to harm or to cause wars and division. It's not validation or a reasoning to become a king and or a queen over anyone. That was Jesus' message. You do not have the right. And you had a whole maniac try to use that to exterminate a religious culture. That's what it was. It wasn't a physical human being culture. It was he tried to say, because you worship and you are Jewish, you are evil, and you were the reason why they killed Jesus. No, that was just a crazy lunatic maniac that died in a hole and committed suicide because he knew we was coming. Shout out to the Allies in World War II. Shout out to my dad. Shout out to all the military events that are coming up. Yeah, there's honor there. Yeah. And for the people who try to, because when someone says I'm Jewish, I go, "Oh, where do you worship?" "Oh, no, I don't worship." Well, no, then you're just a human being with Jewish culture, but you're not Jewish. There's two different things. You might be Polish, you might be Turkish, you might be Spanish, but you're not Jewish. Yeah, it's a difference to me. You might not agree, but that's okay. But I think it's interesting, the whole culture. Peter was Jewish and he followed Christ. He met him, knew him, followed him, had a whole career with the keys of the kingdom, teaching people, spreading the word, years and years and years after Christ had died. So that's a brave soul. That's somebody that, I bet you, he was by himself and he didn't have 12 people. So you do you, I know his story, but you do your research to learn more about Peter, because I think it's fascinating that we still have somebody today in his place. That's the purpose of the Pope. Because people think, "Oh, it's a sham, it don't mean nothing, it's a lie, they made that up." No, sorry, not sorry. They got receipts, don't they? They got bones and relics and a whole citadel, a whole, all of it. Story time, right? And it's going to be my pleasure to bring you more of the who's who, right, in the Easter tide narrative. Okay, that's a word we made up. But anyway, thank y'all. Please subscribe. I'm sure you enjoyed this episode, and I'm sure you will go and enjoy more of the episodes on our playlist. I appreciate you, boo. That's why we do this. We need your support in 2023 and beyond. Please subscribe. I have plenty of videos and plenty of playlists to tickle your fancy. Or if you want me to talk about other things, let me know. Yeah, because we are not we're a super highway over here. We are not a one lane game. Oh, See, y'all have to do this because the devil stay mad and the devil be stealing. We are not a one lane game, right? Heaven is the only kingdom over here. There you go. Yeah, I like that. We are not a one lane game. Heaven is the only kingdom over here. Oh, I have to take a picture of that. So when I wake up in the morning, I will. I want to see that. I want to see that. Yeah. Thank you, Hearts of Gold. Oh, let me see if I got. Let me see, because you know when you're doing uploads, y'all, we don't have a chat room. So let me see. But I got so many. They might not. They might not. Oh yeah, I got too many. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay, I'll get rid of this one. I'll get rid of this one. Yeah, this has to be up here. Let me see. You'll see it at the end of the outro. Okay. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the click and the view. Thank you for your subscribership. Thank you for your chat ship. Thank you for my moderators, aka professors. Thank you, content creators that support what I do, because we all should be different. Okay. Enjoy. Happy Easter tide. Bye.